How do we like my new camera setup? My new bookshelf. She's so pretty. Please don't bend. I paid so much money for you. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here and you've never seen a video of mine before. My name is Melissa and I do book style content as well as lifestyle content like vlogs and such. So I hope you guys stick around for today's video because I'm going to be getting into all the books that I want to read for the month of May. So for the month of May, I have a pretty large TBR. And I have a large TBR for this month because it is my first month of summer and I figured I would probably have a lot more free time to read, even though I am going to be working, editing, and you know, just spending time outside. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into May's TBR list. So I shared with you guys on Instagram a little bit of the books that I wanted to read. I showed you guys all the books that I wanted to read, but I never really went into depth about them, which is what this video is about. As you guys know, I am currently trying to get through all of the Shadow and Bone books. I am currently on number 2, which is Seed and Storm. I'm about 100 pages out from finishing, but that's a whole nother video of reviewing those, so look out for that. But for the month of May, I want to get around to reading the last book in the trilogy, which is Ruin and Rising. As I mentioned, if you guys follow my Goodreads, which if you don't, it is down in the description box below that you can go follow it. But if you guys have been keeping up with my Goodreads updates, you will see that I finally figured out the meaning of the covers for each book. I am very excited to start reading this one. The whole storyline is just very interesting, but the romance is not. As for the romance in the Shadow and Bone series, there is not much romance. I know a lot of people ship, you know, Alina and Mal together. In my opinion, the romance between the two is very dry, and there's really no romance at all. It's more of a fantasy book than a romance book. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok kind of hyping it up as friends to lovers. It's not really that. It's more of a fantasy. There is small bits of romance in there, but the plot is not centered around romance. So if you're going into the book expecting this big grand romance, you're gonna get let down. Just want to put that out there. On the theme with the Grishaverse novels, the next 2 novels that I want to read are actually The Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom duology. I remember talking to you guys a lot about The Six of Crows in a couple videos and also in my comments and also on my Instagram. Many of you guys know that I'm actually more excited to read The Six of Crows duology than I am reading the Shadow and Bone series right now. I've just heard nothing but amazing things about the duology and just about all the characters and the background, and a lot of people say that Leigh Bardugo really outdid herself with these novels, and I can't attest to that yet, but if the reviews are as good as they are, I'm really excited to read them and I trust them. A lot of you have actually requested that I do a reading vlog for the duology because you guys want to see my reaction to the ending of Crooked Kingdom, which makes me very nervous for the ending, but I'm also very excited to read it because I'm like ready to be done with like the Grishaverse. And I don't mean that in like a, you know, bad way, and I know there's 2 other books that follow Nikolai's life, but I'm not gonna read those straight after finishing Crooked Kingdom because I kind of want to move on to the other books that I have. As you guys can see, I have many to get to. So I'm going to push off reading, I think it's called King of Scars or something, and then there's another one that just recently came out. I'm gonna eventually read that duology as well, but it's not gonna be anytime soon. Moving on. I showed this to you guys in one of my other TBRs, and I think I showed it in one of my reading vlogs, probably my 24-hour reading vlog, but I never finished it, and I want to get around to finishing it this month because I just want to be done with it and stop thinking about it. So other book that I want to get through this month is The Shadows Between Us. I am about 10-ish chapters into this book, but I just kind of got tired of it after a while, and I kind of just wanted to read the Shadow and Bone series because that was when the show was like first gonna come out. So I stopped reading this book and I started reading the Shadow and Bone series. But I'm finally gonna finish this book and I'm finally gonna give you guys a review on it. At the moment where I left off in the book, I liked it. I just felt it kind of read like a Wattpad book in a way. If you guys have ever read Wattpad and you've read this book, you will probably understand what I'm saying. I don't know, it just feels very fast-paced and very cliche-ish, but it's not cliche in a bad way, if you know what I mean. The 5th book that I want to read this month is actually a book one of you guys sent me through my Amazon wish list, which by the way, if you guys want to send me a book, by no means are you obligated to, but I do have my Amazon wish list down in the description box below below if you guys want to send me a book for my wish list. Anyways, as I was saying, another book that I want to read this month is actually a book that one of you guys sent me, and it's called Genuine Fraud. This is also the author of the book We Were Liars, which you guys saw me read in one of my vlogs, I think, and then I also reviewed it on my Instagram. Genuine Fraud is basically up the same alley as We Were Liars, except it's not exactly the same. It's still a mystery. It kind of goes more into depth of how Amy and Jewel are best friends, are like obsessed with each other, and all of a sudden Amy goes missing and Jewel takes her place. This book almost reminds me of the show Cruel Summer, which just came out. I just started watching the show and it kind of sort of reminds me of this. When you read the synopsis and you've seen Cruel Summer, you kind of see the parallels between the two in a way, because this other girl is like essentially pretending to be this other girl and nobody really knows why or where the other girl went. This is the 5th book I want to read this month, and I'm actually so happy one of you guys sent me this. I think her name was Genevieve. If you're watching this, thank you again for sending this to me. On the trend with mystery and whatnot, 6th book that I want to read for the month of May, The Wicked Deep. I talked about this in my recent like what books that I got for like spring and whatnot. This is essentially about 3 sisters who were accused of witchery, and they were sentenced to death by basically being drowned to death in the lake of the town that they were in. And now every year the sisters basically possess 3 girls in the town and lure boys to the harbor to drown them for revenge. Except one of our main characters, Penny, kind of sees through everything that's going on in the town, and this other boy, Bo, who comes into the story, basically falls prey to what is happening in the town, and Penny is faced with a choice of either saving herself or saving Bo. I'm very excited to read this. I haven't seen TikTok much advertise this book. I don't think I've seen it anywhere, to be quite honest. The 7th book I want to read this month, I feel like doesn't really need an introduction whatsoever. The 7th book I want to read for the month of May is actually Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. As you guys know, I'm trying to get through all 7 of the Harry Potter books. I've currently gone through the first 2, obviously, if I'm reading this next. Very excited to meet Sirius in this book. Of course, we've seen him in the movies, but I've heard that it's a little different in the book, so I'm excited to see the differences between the book and the movie because I'm absolutely obsessed with the movies. And for the last book of May that I want to read, I'm really gonna put myself through the ringer with this one. A Little Life. If you've never heard of A Little Life or read A Little Life, it is a very deep and emotional book. There are lots of trigger warnings for this book, so if this is a book that you think you might want to read, I highly suggest you search up the trigger warnings, because if you are not mentally or emotionally stable to read this, it could hurt you. And I mean that in the most genuine way possible. I don't want you guys to like hurt yourselves or like, you know, be triggered or anything. This book talks about some very deep and real topics, and it's not for everyone. To be quite honest, I'm a little nervous to read this book, but I'm also very excited to read it because I don't know why I'm excited to read it. I know I'm gonna bawl my eyes out to it. And if nobody has ever heard of A Little Life and doesn't even know what it's about, I'm gonna read you guys the synopsis on the back about it. A Little Life follows 4 college classmates, broke, adrift, and buoyed only by their friendship and ambition, as they move to New York in search of fame and fortune. While their relationships, which are tinged by addiction, success, pride, and deepen over the decades, the men are held together by their devotion to the brilliant I can't even say that word. They're held together by their friend Jude, a man scarred by an unspeakable childhood trauma. I meant to brotherly bonds and a masterful deception. I can't speak English today, clearly. Depiction of love in the 21st century. So if this is something that you know is going to trigger you, I don't recommend reading it, and I recommend proceeding with caution. I've also thought about possibly doing a reading vlog for this book because I really want to capture all the emotions that this book brings me. So if a reading vlog for this book is something you guys are interested in, let me know. Hi everyone, I wanted to cut in really quickly because I did not include the book of the month that my book club Discord is going to be reading this month. If you guys want to join the book club Discord, the link will be down in the description box below, and you guys are free to join. It's a place where we can make friends and just kind of all talk and connect, and also it's going to be a place where if you want book recommendations, you can get book recommendations, but also we're going to be doing monthly reads, and then at the end of each month we're going to be discussing the book in that little like group chat. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, click the link down in the description box below and join it. The book that we are reading for this month of May is called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and that's another book I'll be reading this month. Yeah, yeah, those are all the 8 books that I really want to read this month. I'm really curious what you guys want to read in the month of May, so drop a comment down below with all the books that you guys want to read. Even if it's just one, let me know what you're excited about reading this month. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you have not already. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye, guys.
I used to take myself out on dates, open my own damn doors, pay for everything on my plate. Sometimes I'd even get the steak, cause I got it like that. Always had my own bag, never needed no man to rely on. Got 2 good shoulders to cry on.